Hi and welcome to Lizaboo. Now before we begin I must apologise because I'm on the tail end of a cold, so if I sound a bit sniffly or bunged up I do apologise. So today I really want to talk about how I stay positive. Recently a friend said to me, but how do you have dark days because you're always so happy and cheery and bubbly? And while yes, that is definitely the case, a lot of the time I am a positive Polly. I actually do struggle sometimes with, down days, days of self-doubt, worry, all those kind of things that, clutter our mind. We are mere mortals. None of us live in a consistently happy state as much as, we'd all like to think some people just live the best lives. But the truth is, some people with the most happiness, those biggest smiles, are actually sometimes struggling with the deepest, darkest days, whether that's mental health issues or just general traumas in life that they're going through. I think a lot of the media stories with different people committing suicide really shows that it doesn't matter, how much money you have, where you live, what you do, everyone is struggling with something. So I really wanted to come on here and just kind of share how I kind of remain positive, especially when those dark days take over. Because just like, you have a first aid kit for when you cut your finger doing the carrots, I also have my little kind of resources that I go to when I really want to kind of shake off those grey days. The truth is sometimes I do just absorb myself in those days because I think it can actually teach you a lot about yourself. So, those feelings and emotions, sometimes I will have days where I just kind of absorb it and just let it flow because it can tell us a lot about ourselves, and whether that's telling us to slow down, to focus on something else, and to kind of reconnect with our mind and our body, whatever it is, sometimes it is good to absorb in those emotions and perhaps write things down about how you're feeling. But if you're like me, sometimes you just want to get back to being yourself and be a little bit more productive. So these are the things that I use that I find really helpful, and I hope maybe you'll find them helpful too. So the first thing that I do is shake it off, quite literally, as Tay-Tay says. So I found this a few weeks ago. I was really tired and felt really fatigued. So I did exactly what my body needed. I took a rest, I took a little nap for about an hour. And then afterwards I was like, right, I want to get back to feeling like me. I want to get back to feeling energetic and positive. So I put on some tunes that I loved on my Spotify and I just went crazy dancing around the house. I was on my own, but it just made me smile and it just felt really good to move. I think we all kind of miss that kind of movement. So even if you've had like a really rubbish day at work, genuinely put on some awesome tunes in the car and just sing out loud and kind of move your body because it feels so good. And genuinely, after I did that, I had the most productive afternoon. So shake it off is what I would definitely say. The other thing that I do is get outside, whether that's going for a run, a walk, or just even going to the coffee shop for some cake and just a people watch. I love people watching. Because I think it's just sometimes you just need to get out of your environment where you feel quite kind of cluttered and things are going on. I mean, running is my go-to simply because I find it kind of a form of therapy. So if something's really bugging me, I like to go for like an intense run and just work through it in my head while I'm running, and it really actually helps me. I think it stimulates my thought process. So running is my go-to, but there are definitely days where I just want cake and I just want to sit in a coffee shop with some company. So to find out what it is, ask yourself, what do I feel like, what would I really enjoy right now that would get me out of this funk? The other thing that I do is I read. So reading is a really good one because it kind of shifts your mindset completely out of what you're thinking. There can be so many voices in your head, like giving you all the negativity and feeding you all the self-doubt and worry thoughts. And actually reading can just help you gently change your mindset. So I either read in the afternoon or I take a little break and kind of do like maybe 10 or 15 minutes of reading. It doesn't have to be for long to change the way I'm thinking, and it doesn't always have to be a book. I found so many good wellbeing magazines that just make me think differently because it's either quite a curious topic or it's interesting, and I think it really helps me just to get myself out of that headspace. But what I think is important is we understand that it's not just about going from negative to positive really quickly, because that just sometimes can't happen. We don't, as much as we would love to, we do not have a flick in a switch in our head that we can just flick and be like, oh yeah, I feel amazing now. It just doesn't happen. If it does for you, that's amazing, but it doesn't for me. So instead, I find something that can gently just move my mindset. So whether it makes me feel curious or interested or makes me question something, it's just like giving my mind a little gentle nudge in the other direction towards a path of a little bit more thought-provokingness rather than, oh, everything's so bad. So yes, reading is a really big one for me. The other one that I like to do that I've just discovered is my self-love jar. So this little beauty I discovered from Flow magazine, and what you have to do in the jar is put in notes of positivity and activities that make you feel better. So whatever it is that makes you feel happy, pop it in there. And when you're having one of those grey days, you just take one out and you either read something out to yourself or you go and do that thing. And what it's all about is basically, we just are so negative towards ourselves. If a friend came to us with a dilemma that we had in our heads, we'd be so kind and gentle and we'd give them really constructive advice. But instead, we're really self-critical and negative of ourselves. And this aims to try and stop that. So we need to kind of become friends with ourselves. And this is what this jar is about, because it's almost like someone else is telling you what to do. And I think it's a brilliant idea and it really works for me. So that's a good little trick. And then the last one, but not least, is I love playing the piano, and it really helps me get out of my funk. I know not everyone can play the piano, and I know that that's not everyone's hobbies. So whatever your hobby is that helps you just stop thinking is brilliant. And what I mean by that is when I'm playing the piano, I cannot think of anything else except playing the piano. All I'm concentrating on is the music and what notes I'm meant to be playing and the rhythm and everything else like that. Like, there's so many elements to it. My head gets kind of so busy, it kind of pushes that other thing out. It's like, that's rubbish, I can't focus on that right now. And that really helps me. So I try and practice the piano at least once a day. And just by adding in some of these positivity tricks actually habitually makes me happier. So yes, I do seem like a happy, bubbly person, but that's because I work really, really hard to keep my mental well-being in check. But I still have dark days. That doesn't mean that, you know, people that are super happy always have the best life, okay? So that's what we really need to get out of. But I hope that you found these tricks that I use helpful in staying positive. And, you know, at the end of the day, I do kind of follow Dr. Pepper's mindset of what's the worst that could happen. But I'd love to know any of your tips and tricks for staying positive, so please put them in the comments below, and I really hope you find that helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Bye!